In today's masterclass, we're going to work with Adobe Photoshop, and we're going to use the ColorLogic separation tools to be able to convert an image into metallic. And then we're going to add some metallic text and some of our special effects like dimensional effect and watermark effect using the color palettes for Photoshop. So first of all, we're going to work with the image, and this is the one where we have the ColorLogic action set. You'd play your appropriate action, whether it's for English or French or whatever system you have. You just run the action and it's going to calculate that separation for you. Okay, so with that done, we've now got our metallic separation. What it's doing is it's calculating the effect. How much metallic effect do I need to put into this image to make it work on press? We're not thinking about white ink, we're not thinking about metallic inks, it's purely about the amount of effect that would come through the CMYK inks, and it does all that calculation for you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a path around the lady. I'm going to go and select, modify and feather my selection by a couple of pixels. This is just to give a softer edge to the cutout. So now I'm just going to turn off my CMYK. I'm going to delete and fill it with white. So the lady's now deleted. So basically we're not having any metallic effect kind of come through here. All we want is the metallic in the background of this image to make it come off press. And if I switch it on and off, you'll see how the metallic separation will be in the background. Now if we printed this out now, what's going to happen is the metallic ink is either going to print in the background or the metallic substrate will be in the background, depending on whether you're printing with a metallic ink or whether you're printing, say for example, on an HB Indigo with a white ink. Now we could just leave it there and save the file, print it, and we're going to have metallic image in the background and the lady's CMYK. But if we want to work with some text, I've created some different text areas here. So in the top left hand corner we're going to put the word metallic text in metallic. Okay, so first of all you need to color up your text. So I'm just going to select my text. I'm going to go to my foreground and background picker. That brings up the color picker. Go to color libraries and then go up and find the ColorLogic metallic silver library. This should install automatically when you install the ColorLogic system. So that lists all of our colors in the system in CMYK. You cannot build the metallic into these color books, so we have to do it through a second process, which I'll explain next. Now you could just choose a color such as this 1, 2, 3, or you can also put your eyedropper tool, your selection tool, over the top of your image, and it will pick up the nearest appropriate color to what's inside the ColorLogic palettes. So I'm going to do that. I'm selecting 115, click on OK, and now I've colored up my text, but it's only CMYK. If I go back to my channels and turn off my CMYK channels, you'll notice that there is no metallic being printed underneath there. So the next stage is to put metallic into that text. And to do that, I'll just turn on the CMYK again. Make a selection of the text. Go onto your background, go onto the ColorLogic channel, and this time we're going to fill it, but instead of doing it with the white, we're going to do it with black, which is basically 100% of the effect. So that's either 100% metallic ink is going to print there, or 100% of the substrate is going to show through. So now we've made that text metallic. And again, if we turn off the silver separation, the effect separation, you'll see how the text is being made metallic. You could be more creative. You could have selected the text. Let's just go here, layer. Let's think what I'm doing here. Let's rasterize that type. So it's now into a photographic element. Make a selection. We could maybe go to our foreground and background pickers and maybe just choose some random colors. And sorry, I should really do that correctly. Let's go to the color library, do 229. So I've now got a blue going into a red. I'll make my gradient, pull it across there. I've now got gradated metallic text. Okay, so we don't have to change the effect channel underneath because it's still metallic solid. All we're doing is controlling the color that sits on the top. Now if I want to work with some of our special effects, such as dimensional effect, what we're going to do here is we're going to add, it could be like a pattern, and I'll quickly show you how to do this, and we'll go back and do something a little bit more complicated. So all I need to do with this here, I don't actually need the word, I just need to make a selection of that element. It could be text, it could be an image, it could be a vector graphic like a logo. I'm just going to prove this. I'm going to delete, and I'll just hide that for now, so I'll come back and show you something else. With that selected, go onto your metallic channel and just press the delete key, which removes the metallic area from that element. So in this case, it's removing it from the image in the background. So now we have metallic in the background, and where the text is non-metallic, and that's dimensional effect. So what's going to happen is light's going to bounce off this background really quite bright and vibrant, and it's going to make that dimensional effect word look dark. And then when there's no light showing in the background, the word will become light again and the background will become dark. And it's this flip-flop effect that makes things jump around. Next up, we're going to work with the watermark. And again, all we need is the bounding area, and again it could be an EPS file or logo, could be anything. And on the metallic channel again, we're going to go to our curves this time. So we're going to go adjust curves, and what we're doing here is we want to take the shadow point, the top 100%, and drag it down to 80. So input will be 100, output is 80. And what it's doing is it's actually reducing the amount of metallic effect that's going to come down with everything proportionately to 80%. Just to show you how this works, I'll just go and move my selection. So if I put that over the top of some areas that are like more mid-tone range, some others that are highlight, if I now go into my curves and I drop it down to 80%, it's going to naturally only put it into those areas where the metallic content is. And if we zoom in quite closely, you should be able to see the watermark effect in there. This really works well with metallic ink based systems. With the high chrome foil substrates like you'd have on a digital press, it doesn't work very well because the chromatic effect of the foil is so intense that it stops those effects from working. So we are working on new solutions for that. One thing that I like doing is adding different effects together. So let's go back to this dimensional effect text up here. I'm just going to zoom in again. This time I'm going to go into my metallic channel and I'm just going to move it, I'm just going to drag it off center. And I'm going to go and hide my CMYK, and this time I'm going to go to my curves and drop it down like we did with the watermark down to 80%. So what we have now is our dimensional effect word that's going to jump around and have that the actual dimension in the print, and a drop shadow of watermark. So there we've got multiple levels coming in to create something a little bit more three-dimensional, just creating something a little bit more interesting. We could also do some other crazy things. So we could maybe open up, let's think, we could probably open up an EPS file. In fact, let's try and do something quickly whilst we've got this going on. I'll just try and pick something at random here. Okay, let's take this EPS file. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to make that grayscale. Just to show you how random we can be with these things, I'm just going to go into my curves. I'm just going to try and make it very black and very white. And flatten that. Again, let's just push up the curves. What I'm trying to do here is just make it a black and white design. So that will do. Pull that one down like that. Okay, we'll take something random, just like that. Now, if I go back into my metallic design here, let's move it back into the frame. Okay, so I'm going to go into my metallic channel. I'm going to select all that and copy it. I'm going to make a new document and paste that image inside it. So it's just the grayscale separation at the moment. Then with my design, it could be anything you want. I've just randomly picked this one here. I'm going to select it and copy it. Now remember, this is grayscale. So when we now go into our new document, place it over the top, and I'll just try and do something very crude here. I'm just going to place it over the top, go to my layers, go down to screen. We can now start messing around and inverting separations and building up a whole range of effects. We could flatten that image now, and this is just some crazy wacky design I'm trying to create here. I flatten the image, I select it all and copy it. I go back into my original Photoshop image, paste it into my metallic channel, and now I've got this really wacky dimensional effect metallic design, but with certain tonal regions built into it. So you can be as creative as you like, as crazy as you like, or you can just do something quite simple. When you've finished with your work, all you then have to do is save your file, and I would probably save it as I normally flatten my layers and save it as a PSD or a TIFF file. And that's it, you're good to go. Let's try and see what that would look like in the FX viewer. Save as PDF. Now the FX viewer doesn't normally like PDF files from Photoshop, but every now and again it can play nicely. So I'm just going to press quality, save that, and close that one down. Go onto my desktop. Here's my design. Let's try and open it up in the FX viewer and see what we get. So the FX viewer is for visualizing the effects. So we take the file, bring it into the environment. I'm going to pretend I'm going to print this on a foil substrate on the indigo. So now I can see what my design is going to look like, and you can see all those different elements that come to life with the metallic. So there we go, a quick and easy way to be able to take any image, run it through the plugin, make that metallic channel, and then start building up different elements, whether it's text, whether it's key lines, putting gradations in there, or even to the really wacky backgrounds like we're doing here. Okay, so that's Photoshop Masterclass. If you have any questions, please contact support at color-logic. Thank you for your time.